Yeah, that's what it looks like. And psychological deprivation equals loss of control and failure, okay, with the diet or with the eating. So I bet you didn't know that's what it looked like.
No.
Okay. Anyway, all right, we're going to now explain the same concept in a bit of a different way. And I want you to pretend, okay, you know what rules are now. And the rules say I must never have this, I must never have that. Let's say that your favorite food is homemade, right out of the oven brownies. Okay. And so you have a rule that says, because you're trying to lose weight, you're dieting, you have a rule that says I must never have brownies. And your neighbor invites you to a party. And your neighbor happens to make the best homemade brownies that you've ever had. You go to the party, you walk in, and right away you get the smell, and you see this big platter of freshly baked, nice and moist platter of brownies. Okay. And the first thing that happens is you spot them. You spot them right away. You smell them, and your brain, you try to say, no, I can't have those. I'm on a diet. Can't have the brownies. Okay. And so you try to distract yourself. You try to, converse with people, but your brain keeps going back to, that platter of brownies. Okay. And so you keep feeling deprived and more deprived, and so maybe you get to a point in the party where you go, I'll just have one. Right? Does this sound familiar at all? I'll just have one. Well, first of all, when you start your diet, you're in a fighting mode, and you feel like, oh, I can do it, I can really do it, I'm going to do this, I'm really going to do it this time. But remember, you have the rule, and as the rule progresses, you become more and more psychologically deprived, and you remember that face. Now you go to this party and the brownies, and so let's call that temptation. And temptation looks like this. Okay? Now, sooner or later, and you're going, okay, I'll just have one. And maybe you'll just have one. Maybe you won't. Maybe that one will go, oh, I'll just have one more. Or maybe at the end of the party, your friend says, look at all these brownies that are left over. You want to take them home? Okay.
You go to the bathroom and eat them.
And, okay, see, everybody's familiar with this. Okay, or you take the brownies home and then you might binge on them, compulsively overeat on them, whatever it is. But basically, what happens is you lose control, and that's what that looks like. That's the face of loss of control. What happens after you've had a rule, you've been psychologically deprived, you go through the whole temptation, you lose control, what happens after that?
Guilt.
Okay? Guilt. And guilt looks like that. Okay? Now, what happens after all of that, after you get to the guilt? What usually happens after that? Sometime after that.
Give up.
You give up? So you totally maybe you go on and just eat everything else or whatever. And then eventually what happens after that?
Scale, and you go, oh my God.
And then you do what? Keep going. Okay, that's still the guilt. And then you eventually do what?
Lose your resolve.
You said it? What did you say?
Try again.
Aha, okay. I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. But what happens is what I call your intention, and it's like, okay, I'm getting back on. So you either say, I'm getting back on that diet, or you say, I'm going to start this ultra XYZ diet. Instead of the XYZ diet, I heard there's an ultra one now. So I'm going to get on that. And you have a very, very sincere intention, the same way as you had it in the beginning, okay, with the other one, a very sincere intention to get back in control. And the intention looks like this. I'm really going to do it this time. Really going to do this. I'm going to follow my rules to the letter again for good. And then what happens? Comes back around. Comes back around, and it keeps going around. And this is what, that's why we have the term yo-yo dieter. Because there's that cycle, and it just keeps going around, 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 around. Okay. So this is because of psychological deprivation. Now, yes, there might be people that never experience this. But guess what? A lot of people experience this in our country. A lot of people do, because we are very preoccupied with food and weight and appearance and dieting. Okay, so.